What's up everyone? I am Salas. Welcome to my YouTube channel Arc Studio. If you like contents related to architecture and design, like, share and follow to Arc Studio. Today we will be discussing about one of my interesting topics and favorite content, that is VastuShastra. We would be looking into and learning VastuShastra not just in its theoretical knowledge but also we will try interpreting it with the help of architecture itself. And then I would be discussing majorly on Thachushastra, which is the traditional architecture of Kerala. It's Kerala. So coming on to the introduction of VastuShastra. VastuShastra is nothing but it's an ancient Indian Vedic science of architecture which is used to create generally a pleasant environment and a stress-free frequency should be made into a premise or an area. This could be done in any places where you have four walls, or it could be having a roof or without roof as well. And this Vastushastra is majorly happening on the basis of the Panchabhutas or the five elements of nature, namely Jal, Agni, Bhumi, Vayu, and Akash. That is the water, fire, earth, wind, and space, and how this influences basically the surrounding or the spaces. If you look at it, architecture, how we normally design, we also design it similar to like this with the help of sun path, checking the site, and also with the movement of the wind and so on, so as to create a very efficient design itself. Now, in VastuShastra, first thing what we does is that we need to understand the site. And VastuShastra is normally happens in a square or a rectangular surface which has a proper grid. Okay, so if you get a irregular site like this as shown in the figure, what we does is that we try to make this a rectangle or a square as now what I have done. And then we determine the two major axes, that is the north-south axis and the east-west axis. So the north-south axis is called as the Yamasutra as per VastuShastra, and the east-west direction is known as the Brahmasutra. And talking about this Yamasutra and the Brahmasutra, Yamasutra is nothing but it is the ancestral flow according to VastuShastra, and Brahmasutra is the godly flow. And it's always told not to have any obstructions in between while designing any building or any or anything in this site or inside the building, so that the ancestral flow or the godly flow is not blocked. If you look at as per the architectural design that we does, it is nothing but the flow of the wind or the flow of movement should not be distracted according to the major axes. That's it. So the point at which it intersects is known as the Madhya Bindu. This is also referred to as Brahmastan at times. Then there are two minor axes known as the Karna Sutra and the Marana Sutra, which would help us in determining some positionings in the further outdoor site development as well the interior developments in the buildings. Uh, Coming on to the second part, that is once we start dividing this place, we basically have four quadrants. So the four quadrants are could be named as Vayuganda, Aishanaganda, Iraviganda, and Agniganda. So these four places has its own uses as well. For example, the Vayuganda is normally used as the place for washrooms and places that normally deals with water and all. And if you come to Ishanaganda, this is a position that is given dedicated to Lord Shiva himself, who is the Panchbhutanath. Okay, and then we come down to Agniganda, which is the place for anything related to fire, especially regions such as kitchen comes out here. And then we have the Iraviganda, which is the place which holds one of the most pious position out in the southwest corner, that is known as the Kanimula. Okay, so basically people tell this is a pious region. The reason would be nothing because of the southwest wind that uh, Kerala or the place has. Okay, so the southwest wind normally enters towards the building via this southwest corner point known as Kanimula. So that's the reason where the highest wind flow happens in this region, and it would also cause the region to have more of a energized manner. That's the reason why this is really pious as well. Okay, and if you could see that the Agnikanda comes just adjacent to it, or you can see just opposite to the direction of the wind. That means if any smoke or substances like that forms out in this region, what happens is that the wind would take it out. And these are basically the architecture interpretations that are being made out from the VastuShastra that is being told to you. Then if you would take into consideration of Vayaganda wherein which the washrooms and substance comes about, if you could see normally in the site, the Kanimula is always told to have the highest condo. That is, it is elevated a little, and then the lowest contour comes out, or the lowest part of the height would be what in this region where I am showing the laser pointer. Okay, so that region would help us in creating a place where in which the drainage could be easily taken about. You know that the water moves from the highest contour to the lowest contour, so it would be easy to drain out anything from this region. So that's where the washrooms and substance comes according to Vastu, and if we interpret it as per architecture itself. Then coming on to the next point, placement of the building in a site. So we have two different options mentioned in VastuShastra. One is placing it towards the southwest corner or the Kannimula or the Iravikandam, or placing it towards the northeastern corner known as the Ishanakandam. Okay, so that means that the Madhya Bindu, the major concept is that the Madhya Bindu or the Brahmastan of the building and the site should not coincide. Okay, if I do it in a architectural interpretation of it, we normally tells that if we require a flow or a movement to be seen, we normally don't place anything at the center. So it has to create a symmetry. A symmetry means it basically creates a block in the flow. Okay, so if we create asymmetry in the building also, we basically have more chance of a better flow and better movement in the building. So that's what is happening out here as well. Okay, and then I am going to further divide uh, these quadrants into three sub quadrants, which would help us in determining the spaces that is going to be allocated either outside as well as the interior of the buildings. So the four regions are basically divided into 12 rashes, and these 12 rashes are named as per the months in the Kerala calendar. Starting from the south west corner known as Kanni, it starts as Tulam, Vrishikam, Dhanu, Magaram, Kumbham, Meenam, Medam, Edavam, Midhunam, Karkadam, Chingam, and then comes back. Okay, so this is basically the place, and this helps in determining the areas such as a car pose, where should the well come, and so on. And if the in the next part, I would be basically covering about east facing house and how we would basically develop the outdoor surface as well. You can also get the written article about this on my site as well. The link will be given in the description. With that, I conclude. Thank you.